Ever feel like you're the one always getting pulled aside at customs? It feels random, but often, it's not. Today, we're breaking down the 8 secret ways to avoid getting picked by customs so you can breeze through the terminal with confidence. We'll look at the common mistakes that catch an agent's eye and how to fix them instantly. Ready to stop playing airport roulette? Let's dive into how you can make your next arrival completely stress-free. The Oops, My Bad paperwork trap. We're kicking things off at number 8 with administrative glitches. This is the most avoidable way to get flagged, yet it accounts for a huge chunk of secondary referrals. Imagine landing in Dublin for Christmas, only to find out your passport expired 2 days ago. That actually happened to one traveler who was refused boarding by Ryanair, only to find a chill officer at Aer Lingus who let them fly, leaving their fate up to the gods of Dublin passport control. If your documents aren't 100% perfect, the primary inspector's computer starts screaming in red text. For students and visa workers, it's even hairier. If your SEVIS record, that's the student tracking system, was updated recently, it might not show up on the primary officer's screen yet. That's an automatic trip to secondary for a systems check. Then there's the dreaded Form Y515A. If you forget a required document, an officer might give you this temporary pass that lets you stay for 30 days while you mail in the missing paper, but it's entirely at their discretion, and they could just as easily send you home. And it's not just the big stuff. Discrepancies between what you say and what's in the system are a one-way ticket to interrogation town. If you tell the officer you're a consultant, but your visa petition says systems analyst, you've just triggered a misrepresentation flag. The pro tip: triple check your paperwork. Make sure your visa annotations match your verbal story. If you're a student, ensure your I-20 is signed and your SEVIS record is active. Don't let a missing signature be the reason you spend 4 hours in a room with no windows. But if you think a bad signature is annoying, wait until you hear how they're reading your digital mind before you even buy the ticket. Do you know what's in your passenger name record? 7. The digital stalkers, PNR and APIS. Coming in at number 7 is your metadata. Long before you reach the airport, a system called the Automated Targeting System Passenger, or ATSP, has already given you a metaphorical vibe check. It does this using 2 main datasets, APIS and PNR. APIS is the basic stuff: your name, date of birth, and passport number. But the PNR, that's the juicy stuff. Your passenger name record contains up to 19 different data fields, including when you booked, how you paid, your seat preference, and even your baggage information. The algorithm is looking for patterns. Did you book a one-way ticket with cash at the last minute? That's a classic red flag for a courier. Did you skip the seat selection but request a special meal? Or maybe you're traveling with a huge amount of luggage for a 3-day trip. The system compares your habits against lookouts and patterns identified in past investigations. Think about it. The system knows if you're a frequent flyer with a predictable routine or a first-timer who looks like they're making it up as they go. If your digital footprint doesn't match the profile of a standard traveler for that route, you're already on the to verify list before the plane even takes off. The pro tip: be digitally boring. Use a credit card, book at least a few weeks in advance, and pick a seat. If your travel behavior mimics an international man of mystery, the algorithm is going to want to solve that mystery. It's like having a very judgmental digital shadow. But what happens when that shadow starts talking to every law enforcement database in existence? 6. The invisible brain, the ATS algorithm. At number 6, we have the black box of the border, the Automated Targeting System, ATS. This isn't just one database. It's a giant blender that mixes info from the National Crime Information Center, NCIC, the Terrorist Screening Database, TSDB, and your past travel records. Here's the thing about ATS. For travelers, it doesn't actually give you a score like a credit rating. Instead, it uses targeting rules to look for anomalies. It's searching for the John Smith problem. In 2024, there were 12,206 NCIC arrests at the border. Most of those were the brain successfully catching people with active warrants. But if your name happens to be the same as someone on a federal watch list, you're getting flagged, even if you've never even stolen a grape from a grocery store. The system is threat agnostic. meaning it's designed to look for any deviation from the norm. It draws from warrantless searches of electronic devices to train its algorithms on what a risky person looks like. It's basically a super intelligent detective that never sleeps and is always looking for a reason to ask you more questions. The pro tip: if you're constantly getting flagged and you're pretty sure you're not a secret agent, file for a redress number through DHS TRIP. It's a hall pass for your name that tells the system, hey, I'm the good John Smith, not the one you're looking for. Before we get to the really psychological stuff, let's take a quick checkpoint break. If you've ever had a random search that turned into a total comedy of errors, drop a comment below. Was it because of a giant squash? Or maybe a human skeleton? Yes, those are real. We'll get to them. Share your customs nightmares, and let's see who has the craziest one. 5. The science of the 1,000-yard stare. Spot. Number 5 is where things get weird. Meet the Behavior Detection and Analysis Program, formerly known as SPOT. These are Behavior Detection Officers, or BDOs, and they're trained to look for a 94-point checklist of suspicious behaviors. What's on this top secret list? Oh, just everyday things like excessive yawning, whistling, rubbing your hands together, or clearing your throat too much. Seriously, in 2013, the GAO found that the human ability to accurately identify deceptive behavior based on these indicators is basically slightly better than chance. Yet, the program persists. They're looking for micro-expressions and behavior clusters. If you're wearing a heavy winter coat in the middle of a Miami heat wave, or if you have what they call a 1,000-yard stare, a lack of eye contact, you're probably getting a casual conversation that is actually a stealth interrogation. Even exaggerated emotions or appearing confused can add points to your risk score. The pro tip: just be chill. Don't overshare, but don't be evasive. And for the love of all that is holy, try not to yawn like you're trying to swallow the terminal. If you're stressed about your flight, just focus on your goal, getting to the gate. But what if your behavior is perfect, but your luggage is, well, literally clucking? 4. The Fashion Police and the Hall of Weird Catches. At number 4, we have physical anomalies. This is the best catches territory where common sense goes to die. Selection often happens when something just doesn't look right on the X-ray, or when your outfit doesn't match the environment. Let's look at the top 10 data from the TSA. We have the Pew Pew in a stroller from Houston, a literal handgun in a baby buggy. Then there was the disassembled 9mm handgun hidden inside a ruby red combat boot inside a Black Panther Lego box at Newark. It's not just weapons. In 2024, someone in Miami tried to smuggle 2 live snakes in their pants. Another traveler at Portsmouth International was caught with methamphetamine hidden inside the hollow tubes of their crutches. And who can forget the handgun inside a raw chicken at Fort Lauderdale? In 2025, the best catches list included bullets hidden in strawberry Nesquik and a shotgun concealed in a golf bag. TSA agents are trained to spot these anomalies, and once they see a gun-shaped object inside a teapot or a knife blade inside a laptop, the random part of your day is officially over. The pro tip: if you're carrying a toy, like a Woody doll from Toy Story, make sure his tiny plastic gun is under 4 inches, or he might get confiscated like one poor traveler experienced at Heathrow. Basically, if it looks like a Pew Pew, smells like a Pew Pew, or is hidden in a rotisserie chicken, you're going to secondary. But what if you're not a smuggler, just a frequent traveler to interesting places? 3. The guilt by association, geography and history. Number 3 is all about your passport stamps. The ATS keeps your travel records for a long time, up to 15 years in an active database, and 75 years overall if you've been linked to an enforcement action. If you're frequently visiting source countries for narcotics or regions with high security risks, the system automatically bumps you up the list. They also look for ticketing anomalies. If you're flying from London to New York for a 24-hour stay, the system thinks you're a courier, not a tourist. And then there's the $70,000 problem. In 2026, a ship captain in Baltimore was caught with $70,737 in unreported currency because he failed to update his FinCEN 105 form. CBP officers and agents seize an average of $152,418 in unreported currency currency every single day. If you've ever had a currency violation, that red flag is going to follow you for a long time. The pro tip: keep your receipts. If you're flagged for a past overstay, show them your foreign entry stamps or boarding passes from that trip to prove you left on time. If you're carrying more than $10,000, just declare it. It's not illegal to have it. It's only illegal to hide it. Now, we're getting to the most fair reason on the list, but fair doesn't mean fast. Ready for the mathematical Hunger Games? 2. The mathematical Hunger Games: complex. Coming in at number 2 is the most frustrating category of all, because you can't charm your way out of it, dress strategically for it, or outpack it. This one is pure statistics. Meet COMPEX, the Compliance Measurement Examination. Think of it as the government's version of a quality control audit, except you are the sample size. CBP uses COMPEX as a control group to test whether their targeting systems and risk algorithms are actually catching what they're supposed to catch. To do that, they randomly select travelers for extremely thorough searches, regardless of background, travel history, or how harmless you look clutching your neck pillow. We're talking about roughly 12,000 passengers per year at major airports, around 30 to 35 people per day, who basically win the least exciting lottery in international travel. When you're selected for COMPEX, the goal isn't suspicion, it's measurement. Officers may conduct an intensive inspection of your luggage and belongings to evaluate what they call the leakage rate. In other words, how much prohibited or undeclared stuff slips through normal screening. You are not the suspect, you are the data point. Congratulations! The wild part is there's zero personal logic behind it. You could be a retired school teacher who brings cookies for the flight crew, or a Fortune 500 executive with elite status on 3 airlines. If the system pings your number, you're heading to secondary inspection. No dramatic music, no secret profile, just math doing math things. These exams help CBP decide whether they need more officers, better technology, or changes to procedures. So yes, while you're standing there explaining why you packed 6 different snack bars, you are technically contributing to national border security metrics. Heroic, really? Pro tip: you cannot outsmart probability. The only winning strategy is simple: pack clean, declare honestly, and stay calm. Trusted traveler programs like Global Entry can reduce how often you're scrutinized overall, but even the most trusted flyers get pulled for random checks occasionally. That's the whole point. Trust, but verify. And just when you think the questions are over, sometimes they ask for something that makes everyone's pulse jump: your device password. 1. The digital deep dive: electronic device searches. And finally, the number one thing you absolutely need to know about modern travel security is something most people don't think about until it's happening: electronic device searches at the border. This is officially the fastest growing reason people get pulled aside for extra scrutiny, and it's not going away. In fiscal year 2024, U.S. Customs and Border Protection, CBP, conducted 47,047 electronic device searches on international arrivals. That might sound small, roughly 0.01% of all travelers, but the sheer number shows how aggressively this practice has expanded. Officers don't need a warrant to examine your phone, tablet, or laptop under what's called the border search exception. That means the digital content you carry isn't protected in the same way as it would be inside the country. They can look through it freely. There are 2 levels of search: a basic search, where an officer manually scrolls through your photos, messages, and files right on the device; and advanced search, where they connect your device to forensic tools that can make a full copy of your data for deeper analysis. In fiscal year 2024, CBP performed 4,322 advanced forensic searches, meaning your digital life could be cloned and examined. So what are they looking for? Think of it as digital contraband, evidence of unauthorized work, hidden business activities, or even mismatches between what you say and what your device says. For example, if your LinkedIn and WhatsApp messages talk about starting a new job while you're entering on a tourist visa, that's a red flag. In 2024 alone, CBP searched the devices of 36,506 non-US citizens and 10,541 US citizens, and those numbers keep rising. Here's the pro tip: practice good digital hygiene before you travel. Log out of cloud apps like Gmail, Google Drive, Slack, or WhatsApp before you land, because officers are technically only supposed to search data stored locally on your device, not content that lives in the cloud. If an officer asks for your password, you can refuse, but be warned, for non-citizens, refusal often leads to denied entry and a very long, very sad flight home. Your phone may be small, but right now it's treated like the most powerful piece of luggage you bring, and it's under more scrutiny than your carry-on. The final verdict. So, So, there you have it, the 8 ways you get randomly selected. It's a mix of bad paperwork, digital shadows, weird behavior, and sometimes just cold, hard math. In 2025, we're seeing record drug seizures, like the 100,000 pounds of cocaine interdicted in Operation Pacific Viper, which means the pressure on the border is higher than ever. The best way to avoid the secondary room? Join a trusted traveler program. It won't make you invisible, but it tells the invisible brain that you've already been vetted and you're a low-risk traveler. Before you head out for your next flight, check out our other video on how to breeze through TSA like a pro. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell, because the only thing worse than a secondary inspection is missing your flight because you didn't know the rules. Safe travels and keep your pew-pews out of your chickens.